Typical day, I start at 2:30 in the morning out at Van Nuys Airport, where we have our helicopter and a couple of live trucks. I drive a live truck, operate the camera, and get our assignment from the assignment desk. And usually at that hour in the middle of the night, it's usually not anything good. Nothing good happens after 9 or 10 o'clock, I always say. So we're usually going to some kind of crime scene or some big fire or something that's somebody's worst day of their life, and that's, see a lot of bad stuff, unfortunately.
I have a desk job at Boston Scientific. I review a lot of documents. We ensure the quality of the devices. We do some of the testing in the cadaver lab to make sure it's usable and functional. We help the R&D engineers test out the devices.
I'm working on the software development team. I'm kind of the liaison between the programmers, the project managers, the folks on the IT side, and the business side of the business, which really don't understand techno-speak. And the techno-speak people a lot of times don't understand the business-speak people, so kind of an interpreter.
My typical day is overseeing 56 companies' distribution challenges out of 8 buildings here in Santa Clarita with just under 300 employees.
I'm an engineer, I'm a female, I have a boring day job, and then I'm a deputy. Right?
For 3 decades, thousands of stories were given life in our print room before being sent to your home. Each week, an individual walks into this room to give life to an incredible, one-of-a-kind story. These aren't your local politicians or well-known celebrities. They are everyday people, much like yourself, eager to share a piece of their lives with you.
Blood pressure 120/80, GCS of 15, still ANO times 3, pupils are pearl, respiration's 18. As a reserve, when we're on duty, we are the same as a regular deputy. We have full police powers. Most of our team is assigned to search and rescue, so we may not be handling a bank robbery call or some kind of crime call, a domestic violence call. There's 3 or 4 of us on the team, myself included, that have gone through patrol training. So you may see me out in a regular patrol car or a search and rescue truck. Litter's ready to pull up.
Copy that. Raising litter.
Oslo.
We focus more on call-outs that are lost hikers, medical calls, cars over the side, very search and rescue oriented, whereas the reserve deputies are the full range of emergencies in Santa Clarita.
We're out generally out of the city most of the time, the wilderness areas, more often than not. We're not generally doing any law enforcement per se, and we're looking for more to do rescues and EMT work and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so that way we're just mixing it up a little bit and we're just fine-tuning those skills depending on what is needed on.
On a training, we'll go out and do some type of simulation. So it could be that it's a lost hiker and it's in the wash area, and we have to first find where the person entered into the wash and try to establish, their trail, try to keep people from walking over it and other hikers. So, and then we track it, literally track it until we find, in the case of a practice session, it would be until we find the person that's, the dummy or the simulator.
The call out is sent to the Santa Clarita team, about 12 of us for our area. There are other search and rescue teams in the county. If it's a large call out, they'll call out mutual aid. My first call out of academy was the firefighter in Fillmore.
You'll see there are some prints right here.
A couple of firefighters had gone up on a backpack hike into that watershed.
It was a mutual aid call out, so it was a big one and multi-day search. My first time in a helicopter, so it was kind of throwing me into everything at once.
Our team got involved into it about the 4th or 5th day, and we were out there for about 4 days.
After flying over the same location multiple times during the search over the past 7 days, what they had seen was a body.
It is hard. Again, you can't really control the outcome of it, but just being there, the family was very appreciative. So just them knowing that there's help in the community and we're here for them to call on, I think that makes those times better.
I think my most memorable, I got off work, we got a call out for a missing 4-year-old boy, and got in the truck, got loaded up. It was just a search, and nobody had any idea where he was, so it wasn't like a cliffhanger where we had to just change real quick, throw everything in the truck and go. So it was just kind of, we got in the truck and we started driving towards where the command post was, and then we heard our air unit on the radio spot the kid in the pool.
Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff Station deputies jumped into the pool once he was located, pulled the 4-year-old from the pool, and he was transported to an awaiting Sheriff's Department helicopter where he was brought to a local area hospital. Unfortunately, he was pronounced dead just after 4 p.m. today.
Yeah, it still like chokes me up. Yeah, so I did CPR on a 4-year-old boy. I didn't see that coming. Anyway, yeah, that was the one. Still gets me.
One of the most memorable experiences I had was with a situation where someone was sitting on the edge of a cliff. It was a 500-foot cliff, and their intent was to kill themselves. Spent talking with him 3 hours, slowly getting closer and closer to him, to the point where we were sitting with him on the edge, and finally were able to pull him away from the edge. And that 3 hours was maybe some of the most intense minutes I've ever spent.
Mentally dealing with seeing bad things, and we see good things too. There's times where, I think Ken mentioned, we talked a guy down that was intent on jumping off a cliff, and that was great. We were driving back that night, high-fiving each other, and so there are very happy things.
Winston Leader, Medical 1.
Copy that. Medical CP ready for another set of vitals on our victim.
I think all of the calls that I've responded to, I take something from each one. I typically think this is the worst day of somebody's life, and I was there to help somebody. And a lot of the people we found, it's very gratifying. A lot of the people that have not had such fortunate ends, it's also gratifying to at least be there for the family.
It's one thing, you can give money to organizations, you can sit on boards. Those are very, very important things to do, but it's something about being on a search and rescue team that's very personal, that allows you to get out there and appreciate, what our law enforcement and our search and rescue teams that do this for full time and our fire departments are going through, and it helps you better understand life.
Most important thing, going back to that cliche answer, is giving back to people, but more than that, it gives back to me. I just feel like I'm doing something good. It offsets my day job of being there on, and pointing a camera at somebody on their worst day. And sometimes in the same day, I go right from that to I'm rescuing somebody and helping them. So it's great.
One of my friends calls me Batman, yeah, right? I get my call on my bat phone and go out and save people.